tragic love stories, right? They always seem to have this, like, universal appeal, like Romeo and Juliet,
Oh, of course.
Lila and Moshna, and
Yeah.
there's just countless others. What is it about these, forbidden love, insurmountable odds that just, I don't know, captures our imagination so much?
Maybe it's the idea that love can kind of transcend even the most difficult circumstances. These stories, I think they remind us, maybe more than anything else, of the power of just human connection and I think the depth of emotion we're capable of.
Yeah. And when it comes to these star-crossed lovers, the Irish legend of Diarmuid and Gráinne is, it's right up there with the greats. You could call it Romeo and Juliet, but with an Irish twist, steeped in myth and magic.
Oh, definitely.
It takes us back to ancient Ireland, a land of, well, warriors and kings, and of course, powerful love.
It's a world where, duty and desire often clash.
Right.
Where the bonds of loyalty are tested by the force of love. And at the heart of this story is Gráinne, daughter of the High King, who is promised to Fionn McCumhaill,
Okay.
the leader of the Fianna warriors.
So Fionn is a powerful and revered figure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Represents kind of stability and tradition. But for Gráinne, this arranged marriage, well, it's a symbol of obligation. It's not love. It's at their wedding feast where we encounter Diarmuid, one of Fionn's most trusted warriors.
Diarmuid is not only known for his battle skills, but also his charm.
Right.
Legend says he had a geis.
A geis.
A magical mark that made him irresistible to women.
Oh, wow. So imagine that. A mark that just compels desire.
Compels desire, exactly, yeah. And this has a fascinating layer to the story, don't you think?
It really does.
Because it suggests that their connection is almost, fated. Supernatural, even.
This guy's, it wasn't just like superficial charm, was it?
No.
It seemed to point to something, well, deeper in Irish mythology. Something connects to, like, fate and destiny.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The guise, it represents this really powerful force, often tied to prophecy and destiny. So it kind of suggests that, certain people, they're bound by these forces beyond their control.
Yeah.
Which adds this layer of almost inevitability, to their actions and ultimately to their fate.
So we have Gráinne bound by duty to marry Fionn.
Yes.
And Diarmuid, who can't escape this power of his geis. What happens when these two forces collide at the wedding feast?
Well, as you can imagine, the tension is palpable.
Yeah.
Gráinne is duty-bound to offer a drink to each warrior who is present. But when she reaches Diarmuid, their eyes meet.
Okay.
And everything changes.
This is where the legend truly ignites. Sparks fly. Just the weight of unspoken desires, it just hangs in the air.
Yes.
Gráinne is trapped by tradition, and yet she finds herself drawn to Diarmuid.
Yeah.
This man who embodies everything that her marriage to Fionn lacks.
And Diarmuid is torn, isn't he? Because he's bound by loyalty to Fionn. He's his leader, his mentor. But this geis, this force of attraction is pulling him towards Gráinne. He's got an impossible choice. Duty or love.
So what does Gráinne do? Does she accept her fate? Go through with the marriage to Fionn?
Not Gráinne.
No.
She takes matters into her own hands. She drugs the entire wedding party.
Wow.
It's remarkable. The hall is filled with slumbering warriors, the High King oblivious.
She seizes the moment. What happens next? Does she just flee?
She confronts Diarmuid, gives him an ultimatum, invokes her own geis upon him.
She has her own geis.
She does, and binds him to her will. Run away with me, she says, or live knowing that you abandoned true love.
Wow. Powerful declaration.
Okay.
She forces his hand. I mean, Gwen's actions, they really highlight her strength and her determination. I mean, she's not waiting to be rescued. She's taking control of her own destiny.
Yes.
Choosing love over duty.
It's a pivotal moment, yeah. It shows Gráinne's agency, the lengths she'll go to for love. But her actions have consequences, of course. Drugging the guests. Placing a geis on Diarmuid, it sets in motion a chain of events that will change everything.
And so begins their epic flight across Ireland, with Fionn enraged by their betrayal in hot pursuit.
Their flight from Fionn's wrath, it's a real test of their endurance. It speaks to the depth of their love and their determination to forge a life together.
They were constantly looking over their shoulder,
Oh, yeah.
knowing that Fionn and his warriors were right behind them. But they weren't completely alone in this struggle.
No.
The legend mentions they received help from some, well, unexpected sources.
Indeed. The story weaves in these elements of the supernatural,
Yeah.
which reflects that rich tapestry of Irish mythology. Diarmuid was fostered by the god Angus,
Oh, wow.
who used his powers to shield the lovers from from Fionn.
Imagine having a god on your side. It makes you wonder about, the role of fate in their story.
It really does.
Were they destined to be together, protected by this divine intervention? Or was their tragic end, was it inevitable?
This is a question at the heart of so many myths, isn't it? Do we have free will? Or are our lives governed by forces we can't control?
Yeah.
In Diarmuid and Gráinne's case, well, their love seems to defy even the will of the gods. So it's fascinating.
And it wasn't just the gods who aided them. There's also the mention of the Tree of Love.
The Tree of Love.
This magical tree
Yeah.
that offers sanctuary to lovers in danger.
The Tree of Love, you see, is a powerful symbol in Celtic mythology. It embodies nature, the life-giving force of it, and offers protection and sustenance to those who seek its shelter.
So it's like nature itself is conspiring to help them. But even with, divine and earthly aid, their situation, it's still precarious.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't outrun Fionn forever. So how does this chase finally end?
After years of pursuit, Fionn offers a truce. Perhaps time had softened his anger, or maybe he realized their love just couldn't be broken. But this gesture of peace, it must have offered them a glimmer of hope.
You can imagine their relief, but also apprehension. Knowing Fionn, he wouldn't forget their betrayal easily.
And it's here, with this fragile truth, that the story takes its most, heart-wrenching turn. Remember the prophecy? The one tied to Diarmuid's geis.
Right.
It foretold his death at the tusks of a boar. And tragically, this comes to pass during a hunting expedition.
So even with a truce, their fate was sealed.
It seems so, yeah.
This sense of inevitability,
Right.
like forces beyond their control, driving them towards their destinies, that's a theme in lots of great love stories.
It is, isn't it?
Makes you think about free will, whether we're really in control.
But there's another tragic element here. Fionn possessed a unique ability.
Okay.
He could heal any wound just by touching it, with water cupped in his hands.
So he could have saved Diarmuid.
Yes.
What happened? Did he refuse?
The legend says he hesitated.
He hesitated.
As he knelt beside Diarmuid, his hand over the wound, he paused.
Wow.
Some say it was jealousy, a final revenge for the humiliation.
Right.
Others say it was indecision,
Yeah.
a struggle between his anger and maybe a newfound compassion.
Whatever the reason, his hesitation sealed Diarmuid's fate. It's devastating. Even the most powerful people, it's a reminder they're not immune to human emotion.
And for Gráinne, it's a double betrayal. First by Fionn, who offered peace but then let her love die, and then by fate itself, which had conspired against them from the start.
So what becomes of Gráinne after Diarmuid's death? Does she just succumb to grief, or does she find a way to carry on?
Hard to imagine, isn't it?
It is.
The depth of her sorrow.
After everything, all that sacrifice, to lose him like that.
Tragically.
What does the legend say about Gráinne's fate?
Well, there are a few different accounts.
Okay.
Some say that she died of a broken heart, just unable to bear the pain of losing her love.
It's quite a romantic notion, isn't it?
It is.
The intensity of her love, leading to her death.
Yeah, but it speaks to the power of grief, doesn't it?
It does.
And loss.
It makes you wonder if death from a broken heart is just a poetic device or a real phenomenon.
It does, yeah.
But there are other versions, right?
Yeah.
Where Gráinne doesn't just fade away.
That's right. Some suggest that she lived on, raising their children, carrying the memory of their love.
So this speaks to a resilience of the human spirit.
I think so, yeah.
The ability to find meaning and purpose even after facing, unimaginable tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reminder that even the most heart-wrenching experiences, they don't have to define us.
No.
That we can adapt and grow.
Find ways to honor those we've lost.
But even in these versions where Gráinne lives on, there's still a sense of melancholy.
Of course. How could there not be? I mean, the shadow of their doomed love, it would always be there.
Yeah.
But within that shadow, there's a glimmer of hope, I think, because their story continues to be told, passed down for generations. It suggests their love had a real lasting impact.
It's a testament to the power of their story, how it
Yeah.
still resonates, centuries later. We're still captivated by their love, their escape,
Mm-hmm.
and of course their tragic fate.
Diarmuid and Gráinne's story has become part of of Irish culture itself, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the landscape is just dotted with places that are named after them, each one a reminder of their love and their legacy. And beyond the physical landmarks, their tale lives on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In songs and poems and plays, their memories kept alive.
It's like their love story has transcended the boundaries of time and place. It's become this timeless tale
Yes.
that speaks of the complexities of love and loss and the human condition.
It reminds us that even in the face of heartbreak and these seemingly insurmountable obstacles, the human spirit can endure and love can leave an indelible mark on the world.
It's a story that really stays with you. It prompts you to think about the choices we make, the sacrifices we endure, and the power of love.
In all its forms.
If this exploration of Diarmuid and Gráinne's legend, if it's left you wanting to discover more about Irish mythology, we really do encourage you to do so.
Oh, absolutely.
There are so many fascinating tales out there,
Waiting to be discovered.
each one offering this glimpse into the history, the beliefs, and the values of the Irish people.
Yes.
And for those who want to keep exploring fascinating stories, delving into these captivating subjects, well, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. We'll deliver insightful content right to your inbox so you can stay informed. And until next time, may your own journeys be filled with adventure, discovery, and maybe even a touch of legendary romance.